The Federal Reserve's survey of consumer finances found that self-employed households have a median retirement savings of $87,000. The same figure for full-time salaried workers is $326,000. That's a $239,000 gap, and it's not because freelancers earn less. Many earn significantly more. The gap exists because there is no system forcing you to save, no auto-enrollment, no employer match, no HR department sending October reminders. Just you, your quarterly tax bill, and a retirement deadline that moves silently closer every year you don't contribute. The structural disadvantage is real. A salaried employee making $100,000 at a company with a standard 4% match receives $4,000 in free money each year, $80,000 over a 20-year career. With compounding at 7%, that match alone becomes roughly $175,000. A self-employed person making the same $100,000 receives no match, no automatic payroll deduction, and must actively decide every quarter to prioritize retirement over business reinvestment, tax bills, equipment, and marketing. Most don't. Not because they're irresponsible, because no system makes them. Cash flow volatility amplifies the problem. In a good quarter, the temptation is to reinvest in the business or reward yourself for a strong period. In a lean quarter, retirement contributions feel impossible. The result is a pattern of inconsistent or zero contributions across an entire career. The compounding math punishes inconsistency harshly. Skipping a $10,000 contribution at age 35 doesn't cost you $10,000 at retirement. It costs you roughly $76,000 at age 65, assuming 7% annual growth. Every year of inaction has a multiplied cost measured in retirement age dollars. The good news is that self-employed people have access to retirement accounts with contribution limits that dwarf what salaried employees can use. A SEPI, allows contributions of up to 25% of net self-employment income, capped at $69,000 in 2024. A solo 401k, also called an individual 401k, allows an employee deferral of $23,000 plus a 25% employer contribution, for a total cap of $69,000. Both contributions are tax-deductible, reducing your net self-employment income and therefore your self-employment tax. They are the most powerful tax shelters available to the self-employed. The solo 401k has an important structural advantage over the SEPI, at lower income levels. A SEPI, contribution is limited to 25% of net earnings. On $60,000 of net self-employment income, that's $15,000. A solo 401k allows the full $23,000 employee deferral regardless of income, as long as you have at least $23,000 in net self-employment earnings. On $60,000 of income, the solo 401k lets you shelter more than 38% of your earnings, versus 25% for the SEPI. For lower income years, the solo 401k is almost always the superior vehicle. Catch-up contributions are available for those 50 and older. In 2024, the solo 401k catch-up provision allows an additional $7,500 per year, bringing the employee deferral limit to $30,500. For a self-employed person in their 50s who has accumulated less than they should have, this provision is one of the most powerful tools available. A 55-year-old contributing $30,500 per year for 10 years at 7% growth accumulates approximately $421,000, not enough to retire on alone, but a meaningful reversal of a decade of underinvestment. The operational discipline required is simple but non-negotiable. Treat retirement contributions as a tax payment. When you receive $10,000 from a client, set aside 25 to 30% for taxes and 15 to 20% for retirement before touching anything else. Open a high-yield savings account specifically for retirement funds and move money there on the day of deposit, not a year-end. Year-end funding decisions are vulnerable to the annual cash crunch that hits self-employed people every January when Q4 invoices are still outstanding. Open a solo 401k or SEPIRI before December 31 of each tax year. The solo 401k must be established by December 31 to make employee deferrals for that tax year, even if you fund it later by the tax filing deadline. A SEPIRI can be established up to your filing deadline, including extensions, September 15 for most business entities. The administrative cost of these accounts is minimal. Fidelity, Vanguard, and Charles Schwab all offer no-fee solo 401k accounts. There is no meaningful cost barrier to having the right account. Defined benefit plans, also called pension plans, are an underutilized option for high-income self-employed people over 50. They allow contributions based on actuarial calculations that can exceed $200,000 per year, depending on age and income. The contribution is fully deductible. A 58-year-old with a $500,000 net income and 10 years to retirement can shelter an amount that dwarfs the solo 401k ceiling. These plans require third-party actuarial administration, typically $1,500 to $3,000 per year, but the tax deduction they generate is often 20 to 30 times that cost. The retirement gap between self-employed and salaried workers is not fate. It's the predictable result of having no system and taking no action. Build the system, set aside on deposit day, open the right account, establish it before December 31. The contribution limits are generous enough to allow real catch-up if you act with urgency. For the Social Security side of this equation, including how your reporting decisions affect your monthly benefit, the Social Security and self-employment video covers every calculation. Closing the retirement gap starts with choosing the right account and funding it on time. There is a second pillar most freelancers misunderstand entirely. If this landed, how self-employed people handle Social Security and what it means for retirement goes further. It is on this channel.